Happy Monday. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. As you could tell by the title, we're going to be talking about reasons why you should just forget about manifesting altogether and just focus on your self-concept. And as I get into these points, of course, you'll have a better understanding as to why I say this and why it's important to take this approach in terms of materializing desire so that you don't further rematerialize your false beliefs and the separation in the circumstances. So this is going to be a quick way to really get you into your desire embodiment without having any conscious resistance, or resistance is the best word, to actually receiving your desire. So let's dive into these points because I want to make this particular live very short and sweet. And I want to talk about just like the overall manifestation stuff. And by the way, if you are into self-concept, the law of assumption, and you want to take a deeper dive into your emotional self-regulation and your desire embodiment, hit the link in my bio. I have a program that is 9 weeks that focuses purely on shifting you from dysregulation into your desire embodiment. And of course, if you are looking to work with me in a one-on-one capacity, the link to just, getting started and getting a chat set up with us is right in the link, and it's the third link down. So talking about just manifestation and overall just really shifting into your desire embodiment. If you are in these stages where you are noticing a pattern as to why you have not gotten your desire or been able to materialize or manifest your desire, or the desire, because you probably have had this desire for a really long time and you're just really wanting to get the full essence of it materialized and just enjoyed, of course. And you are just having these very common stumbling blocks when it comes to manifesting. And I know that this is going to be another video to sort of show you what manifestation is not and what manifesting is not. So this is going to be review for some of you and just a sort of eye opener for the rest of you, right? So the first one is you want to just forget about manifesting because you really want to be out of the energy of trying. You want to be out of the energy of really doing the performative thing. I'm going to be talking about that in the future steps, but you really want to get to a space where you are not trying or performing or doing the next logical thing or the next make sense thing, because when you are manifesting and materializing, you are being your desire. So you are being the let's say energetic match, the vibration and the frequency match of the thing that you want to materialize, and you're maintaining that. And so when I say to do self-concept and do self-regulation, it's really to get you into the familiarity and the recognition of already having your desire before it shows up, because you have to be in the feeling state and you have to be able to maintain it. So you're really increasing your level of awareness so that you have the necessary capacity that is required to maintain this unfolding. So it's kind of like when you are holding a load and you are physically trying to hold this, I don't know, let's say that it's gold, right? Because the actual metal gold is really heavy, and say that you could only hold a certain amount and you cannot hold anything more than the amount that you have, and someone is still kind of forcing you to hold twice as much or 3 times as much, and your capacity to hold those pieces of gold, even though they're small, they're really heavy, it's not sustainable, right? It's not, you're not going to be in a space where you can hold that much gold, whether that be 50, 100 to 150, 200. Like, you want to be in a space where you are fully capacitated, or you are fully if that's even a word, able to really get to a space where you can hold this vibrational match, emotional match to your manifestation. So that's point number one. Point number two is like, you really want to get out of the space of wanting, right? So I talk about this in my previous lives, is that if you really want to get to a space of already having your desire, you can no longer want what you already have. So that's the main thing about point number two, is that you really want to get very anchored in your desire and embodied in your desire, that you know that this is belonging to you, that you know on a just beyond belief knowing that this is meant for you, that this could not have been a desire of yours if it wasn't yours already. And that's what you really have to start to think about when you are in a mode of just wanting to materialize desire and just shifting into the version of yourself that already has this desire. It's because a version of you already exists that already has this desire, and all you have to do again is have that emotional capacity to and the conscious awareness to keep that I guess, like, I would say, vibration of already knowing in your conscious and your subconscious mind. So your conscious and your subconscious mind would ideally start working in harmony, and whatever you consciously focus on, that's what your subconscious mind is also picking up on, and it's being divinely guided, of course, by your conscious mind to really push out this feeling state. And so this is why, again, I stress just working on self-concept, which I think is the beginning of really getting anchored in your emotional self-regulation activities, and really creating a lifestyle around that alone will dramatically, if not like transformably, I'm making up words in this live, just like transform your self-concept to the level that it needs to be. And so the next point number 3, is to really, again, going back to what I mentioned about manifestation or manifesting being linear, and you just not really believing beyond your false belief that you can have this desire. So be mindful that you really can adopt this version of yourself right now, in this now moment, when to be as the one that is thinking, feeling, believing that you are this version that already has this desire. So this version of yourself is 100% available to you right now. And I know that oftentimes when we are manifesting and we want something new, it is difficult to focus on what we do not see, and so much easier to focus on what we do see and what we see as far as lack. So what we do not see in our physical reality, which proves to us that we cannot have what it is that we want, but you definitely can have what it is that you want. And through the work of self-concept and emotional self-regulation, you will start to believe more into your having of the desire versus what you see in the external world. And again, this is why you're also noticing patterns, like just unfavorable patterns happening over and over in the way that you show up for business, the way that I guess your audience would engage with you, like just the stuff that you really want to do in your deepest like desire, your burning desire, but somehow that version of you cannot be pushed out because you have not, again, built that muscle to really know that this is the person that you are, and this is really the type of person that is embodied in this desire, and it really is becoming your identity and your self-concept. And so the fourth point is also just really knowing that you don't have to ignore your 3D. You don't have to ignore reality. You don't have to deflect and have this sense of like escapism and just really detach. Like, I don't think that people are like in the community are describing what detachment means. And I'll give you my version like after I do this explanation, is that many of us think that we should ignore what is going on in front of us, when really we should be at least figuring out why, like, we believe on an identity level that this is what we deserve. And again, safely release those false beliefs so that we can get into the version of ourselves that is stable and regulated, and then able to move on to adopting new, more desired feeling states, beliefs, inner self dialogue, etc. And again, going back to the detachment, is many of us think that detachment is ignoring 3D and deflecting and, projecting on other people and just like not being in our emotional bodies. And I personally believe that detachment means that you are detached from all outcomes, right? That you are detached from what you see in the external world, what you see outside of you, and focusing on everyone as you pushed out. Focusing on, okay, well, if I want the change, I have to become the change, and really shifting into the version of yourself that is not deflecting or trying to ignore what is going on in front of you in your world, but you really want to give the attention to your emotional body and your emotional feeling states, and then honoring the process of really getting your nervous system, your emotional body, your subconscious mind in a state of relaxation, right? And so that's what I want to explain about just overall just detachment, because I feel like a lot of us really do, some of us, not a lot of us, but some of us really get detachment kind of mixed up, and we think that detachment means that we have to ignore, and it's the complete opposite. It's more like you want to open up this sense of curiosity and observant mode, and just really getting your observer hat on in terms of what patterns you're noticing and how you can flawlessly and just like, I would say, like, effortlessly maneuver through those feeling states, so that you can again start to have the awareness and the capacity to push out what it is that you actually want. And the next step, or the last point, is that you really want to get out of a stage of just resisting your circumstances. You really want to get into a point where you are just only focused on receiving your desire embodiment. And that can mean by, again, your self-regulation activities, your techniques, which would be either affirming or inner self-dialogue, and you're really shifting states on a maintained, sustainable, consistent basis. And that's how you're really going to create this consistent change, is that you are dedicating and committed to the version of yourself that is desire embodied. And so you really want to get outside of resisting this and calling it, oh, trying to, or wanting to, or I want it so bad, and it doesn't matter how many times I do this, that this XYZ is showing up. And you really want to get to a space where you are confident, and for lack of a better word, confident, but really just secure in yourself, right? Secure and safe and really stable, and in a place of, again, knowing that you are the version right now that exists right now, that is receiving your desire on a consistent basis. And just like I mentioned in the previous live, just the one previous to this one, that, like, first of all, manifesting is not a trying process. Like, materializing desire is not a trying process. If anything, you really want to get to a stage where it takes more energy to deflect, and it takes more energy to deny yourself of this desire versus actually receiving it. And it actually takes more energy. Like, a lot of you, or some of you, I keep seeing a lot of you, but some of you really want to take the path of least resistance at this point, right? And really want to start engaging in the desired feeling states that you know that you are worthy of. And in this moment, especially if you are really wanting to create change right now in your self-concept, it's really important to know that you have a life outside of your false belief. Like, you have a life outside of your lower state mentalities. You have a life outside of your victimhoods and your perfectionisms and your procrastinations. And you really want to get anchored in knowing that there is a completely different life when you are working on your self-concept, your regulation, and shifting outside of dysregulation into your desire embodiment. It is completely life-changing. And if you take anything from this from this live and from this video, is that the more and more you focus on your emotional self-regulation, the better and better you'll get at materializing desire, because you will be able to shift without having all of these resisting thoughts and resisting false beliefs and all of these just false feeling states, right? So this is a sure way, a proven way to really step into the version of yourself that already has your desire. On this note, again, if you were interested in working with me in a one-on-one capacity, we work one-on-one together, again, to shift you outside of dysregulation into your desire embodiment within weeks. If you were interested, definitely hit the link in my description or my bio, and it's the third link down. And I look forward to hearing from you. On that note, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next live. Cheers.